HCAM News is supported by our viewers and by Hopkinton Drug, located in this historic New England town since 1954. They are a multifaceted store dedicated to providing clients with an array of healthcare options.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of HCAM News. I'm HCAM News Director Tom Nappy. On today's edition of HCAM News, we talk with the new Hopkinton Hillers varsity football coach, Mark Sanborn. We'll tell you about some happenings in town, including the Hopkinton Center for the Arts Summer Concert Series, and we have much more. But first, we caught up recently with the South Asian Circle of Hopkinton on the Hangout Hour.
Just in case somebody hasn't heard about your group, let's take a minute or so and talk about how your group organized, how long you've been together, and a little bit about that.
Sure, I can start, and Muniza, feel free to chime in because I'm sure I'll miss things. So as you know, I've been a resident of Hopkinton since 2006, but somewhere around the middle to 2016-17, Hopkinton had a really large explosion of construction, new developments, and new families moving in. And we had a sizable number of South Asian families in Hopkinton. So we decided where, in the past, we used to go and do things, events, cultural events in Framingham or Shrewsbury or Marlborough. We felt now we had a good number here, and this group was Ruta and Charusmita and Sushma. They were and many others decided to found this really from having a small group get together. And we decided that we wanted to do a lot more than just cultural events. So that's how the South Asian Circle was born. Really, it's about creating cultural awareness, including other people in telling them how we celebrate with food and with music, and also doing community outreach, because there's a lot of talent in the South Asian community, and we want to share that with the rest of Hopkinton. And also civic engagement, one of the biggest goals for us is to have the community participate in the town, local government, in the local, not only government, but in all activities, and be part of the civic culture of this country. So that's the little bit of history. So, Muniza.
I'm just going to add a little bit to this. So I think I was introduced to such around 2018, maybe 2019. I'm not very clear on that. And what I gravitated towards it because it just felt like it was a little glimpse of home away from home. That's how it started for me. And for us to keep our culture going for our children, just so that they stay in touch with their roots, is very hard on a day-to-day basis, because they go to schools, they're mostly interacting with one culture, and it's very hard to keep them gravitating towards their roots. So this was a great opportunity to do that. But then as I got involved with it, which I have to say, because of my work limitations, it's very little. Meena is very gung-ho and all in, hands-on. Ruta, Hari, Smita, there's so many other members. But what I can say is what I started really enjoying about it was it wasn't just about us staying with it, in touch with our culture, but also sharing with everybody else and then taking on some others. So I got interested in, for example, the Chinese culture. And it just suddenly is now something of interest when you see people from other cultures reaching out, showing so much interest in your culture, what's second nature to you. It then makes you want to learn more about them as well. So I thought this was a great way of opening our own minds and accepting other ways and cultures.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are here today with Olivia Sword. Olivia, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very well. So you're involved with Project Just Because. And before we talk about the main reason why you're here, why don't you tell us what you do with Project Just Because?
Yeah, so I am on the board of directors for Project Just Because, and I also do some volunteer work there with just, doing some food deliveries and inventory and just kind of whatever needs to be done around the building.
Terrific. How long have you been with Project Just Because?
A year.
Ah, and the Project Just Because organization does some great work around the community. Why don't you tell everybody, for those that don't know, what Project Just Because is and some of the things they do?
Yeah, so Project Just Because simply is sort of direct giving back to the community. We have food pantries, we give clothing, we help with emergency assistance, toiletries, any sort of basic items like that that people may need.
And I'm sure the organization has been pretty busy the last year and a half during the pandemic.
Yes.
Well, it's an organization that does tremendous work around the community. And right now, they are looking for a new home. You have this fundraiser going on at Project Just Because called Build Hope Together. Help us build our new home. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this fundraiser and what it's going to support?
Yeah, so this fundraiser is going to support Project Just Because moving to a new building that we would own, which is really important because even though we're a nonprofit with our lease, we still pay real estate taxes. So owning our own building will help us sort of cut down that part of our operating costs, and also just help us expand and grow and better serve our community.
That's terrific. And we'll throw up the flyer here. Can you explain how this fundraiser works and how people can participate or donate to it?
Yeah. So first of all, the total, we're looking to raise about $2.5 million by next June for the new building, and our upcoming goal is $500,000 by October. So if you'd like to help us reach those goals, you can go on our Facebook and donate however much you're able to. And that link is again on our Facebook at Project Just Because. It's also on our website at projectjustbecause.org. And you can also find it on our Instagram.
Terrific. How has the fundraiser gone so far? Are you getting any good support?
Yeah, we just launched very recently. We've already raised, I think, over $50,000 in the past couple weeks, very, very recently. So yeah, it's going good. Hopefully more planned the next couple of months.
Well, that's incredible. I'd say that's going very good. Well, Olivia, thank you to you and the Project Just Because organization and all the great work that you do in the community.
Thank you.
We're going to take a quick time out. A whole lot more HCAM news ahead. Stay tuned. HCAM programming is supported by our viewers, thank you, and by Phipps Insurance Agency, representing companies such as MapFree Insurance. Their family-owned independent agency is deeply rooted in the communities they serve and offer time-tested insurance products to fit individual needs. Since 1950, Phipps Insurance specializes in home, auto, business, condo, and renters insurance. Welcome back to HCAM News. The Hopkinton Center for the Arts recently brought back their summer concert series. Here's a look at a couple great performances that have happened this summer so far. Tom Nappy here, and we are joined by the new Hopkinton Hillers varsity football head coach, Mark Sanborn. Mark, how are you?
Doing well, Tom. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
I'm doing well. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. It's very exciting time. Very grateful for the opportunity, and I can't wait to get going. It's right around the corner.
Now, for those that don't know, you have a lot of experience with Hiller Sports as far as coaching. Can you talk about your experience coaching and also what led up to this point of you becoming the new varsity football head coach?
Yeah, absolutely. So I teach here at the high school, and coaching is what ultimately got me hooked into teaching. I volunteered with a football program for 2 years, and I fell in love with it instantly. I loved working with the kids, and I decided I was kind of at a point in my life where I wasn't sure what career path I wanted to do, and I loved coaching, and I was like, why not teach as well? So I was lucky enough to get an opportunity here to both coach football, and now I teach here. Two of the best decisions I've made in my life. In addition to football, I also coach JV baseball as well as middle school basketball. And I kind of have a wide experience as it pertains to football. I've been a volunteer assistant. I've been the head freshman coach. I've been the head JV coach. I've ran special teams before. So a lot of different experiences in a lot of different sports. I've had a lot of great mentors and resources along the way, and felt like the right time to kind of jump into this opportunity. And like I said, I'm very excited to get going.
Absolutely. I think you're going to be great, especially considering all that experience that you already have under your belt. So what are some of your goals for the Hillers football team while you're the head coach? Is there anything that you'd like to accomplish?
Yeah, so I'm just thinking over the past week since I've received the job. The big thing right now is just focusing day to day. Meeting with the players tomorrow for the first time. Very excited for that opportunity. We're going to start our weightlifting schedule next week. So just taking it one day at a time, focusing on the small things, taking care of those little details, not worrying about who we're playing week one or who we're playing week two, just worrying about having a great meeting tomorrow, getting the kids in the weight room starting next week, just the opportunity to be together as a team. And then from there, just build a strong culture and set expectations and hold the players accountable, hold the coaches accountable, and just make sure that they, as well as the coaches, are doing everything to represent the program in the right way on and off the field, and using the game of football as a way to teach lifelong skills. And I firmly believe that. I think football is a great teacher of life, and our goal is to instill those attributes and those characteristics and those values in our players. And like I said, just play hard and play with great attitude and just respect your opponents, respect everybody you interact with. But like I said, just focusing on day to day and just setting that foundation is kind of the short-term goals.
Well, I've always been a firm believer that a lot of life lessons can be learned from playing sports while you're in school.
Absolutely.
I have to ask, so this past spring we had football.
Yep.
Because of the pandemic, the season was moved to April. What was it like coaching during that time frame? You were one of the assistant coaches, of course. But what was it like coaching during that time frame? And how did everything go for the team in general? Did they have trouble adjusting, or do you think they adjusted pretty well?
Yeah, it was definitely a change to what normally occurs. Usually you start football at the end of summer, and then you kind of progress in the fall. This year we started football basically like in the middle/end of winter. Thankfully, we were able to get the turf field plowed, so we had a place to practice and play a lot of our games throughout the season. But it was definitely adjustment. I mean, we hopped right into the season, and I think we had 2 weeks of practice, and then we had a scrimmage, and then we played our first game like the following week. So, like I said, it was an adjustment. It was great to give those seniors an opportunity just to be together. And we only played 5 games, but that was better than nothing. And you think about going back to when the whole pandemic started and having the spring season taken away, the summer, a lot of summer sports taken away, and then the fall football was taken away. Just having anything at all last spring was beneficial for the players and for the coaches, because I love coaching, and not having the opportunity to coach for about a year was pretty tough. So it was an adjustment. It was a very odd season. It went by very quick. But it was fun to play other teams and see the seniors get a chance to play some football games. And we did a senior night and everything. So it was fun.
Yeah, it certainly was a very odd season. It was a little different for me as a broadcaster going from basketball and hockey into football. Usually it's vice versa. So with this new varsity football head coach job, are you going to continue your baseball coaching as well?
Yeah, as of now, I'm going to continue with basketball and baseball. We'll see how things go. I know this position in particular is very time consuming. There's a lot that goes to it. And then, like the past week or so, I've just been day in, day out, talking with potential coaches, communicating with the kids, getting inventory and equipment stuff ready. And during the season, it's day to day as well. And then in the off season, weightlifting and fundraising, all that stuff. So it's basically a year-round job, and I'm looking forward to doing that. And we'll kind of make a decision, I think, on the other sports in the near future.
Yeah, you'll certainly have your hands full, that's for sure. But if anyone can handle it, it's you. Could you talk about some of the you've worked with a lot of great coaches, Will, at Hopkinton. Can you talk about some of the great coaches that you worked with and the impact that they've had on you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a great question because over the past week, the amount of support that I've received from a lot of the coaches here at the high school, the administration, our AD has been fantastic. But in particular, I look at the coaches I played for when I was a student here at Hopkinton. I played for Coach Simos as a player. I played for Coach Keene on the basketball team. I played for Coach Golden in both the basketball and the baseball programs. And having those guys in the school and being able to bounce ideas off of them and just know that I had their support throughout the whole process, it's just been so refreshing and has given me even more confidence to pursue this position. And I've just been able to pick a lot of great things that they do in their programs. And I'm looking forward to taking those things and taking the culture and being good teammates and be respectful and thinking about using sports as like a free practice for life, because that's really what it is. There's a lot bigger issues in the world than the football game that we're playing on a Friday night. So I cannot be more appreciative of the coaches I've had to work with and play with. And the experience that they provided me as a player and as a coach now is why I jumped at this opportunity, because I want to offer that same positive playing experience for the football players here at Hopkinton and all the student athletes.
One of the things that never ceases to amaze me about Hopkinton High School is how good the athletic programs have been the last few years. When you look at this past spring, for example, every single team made the postseason. So it's just been great, really, across the board in every sport. So everybody wants to know, when does the season start? When do the practices start? Because I think everyone's starting to get into football mode. So give us some dates.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like as I mentioned earlier, I'm meeting with the kids tomorrow here in the athletic center. I'm very excited just to introduce myself. I know a lot of them anyways, which is a good thing. And just kind of lay out some of those dates. So moving forward, the first official day of practice is Friday, August 20th. Up until that point, we're going to we'll be lifting in the weight room 3 times a week, which is great. And that'll be with the middle school program all the way up to the varsity program. So getting the kids together, getting them working out, getting them just together as a group will be great. And then we have some skills like skills camp and skills clinics type stuff that we will do in that first week. And then, like I said, on Friday, August 20th, that'll be our first day getting out there on the practice field here at Hopkinton. And I could not be more excited. From there, we have 2 scrimmages scheduled. Mr. Cormier has done a great job of locking down scrimmages, just kind of the odd transition we've had with the coaching staff in the past couple of weeks. So we'll play Shepherd Hill on August 28th as a scrimmage, and then Grafton on September 3rd. And then we open up with Wayland, which is the first official game on September 10th. And it's always a great game against Wayland. So
I love that game. That is always a battle.
Fantastic. Yeah. So that's kind of the big dates. It's coming up quickly, about a month away. So I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be here before you know it. So as the varsity head coach, we know that you drop the X's and O's and that you work with the players in practices and stuff like that. But tell us about some of your duties that maybe people don't know a whole lot about. I believe I read that you're also responsible for finding coaches that are needed in the other football programs.
Yeah, correct. So basically, it's the head of the varsity team. You have your JV team, which kind of practices with the varsity, and then you have a freshman program in the middle school. So I'll be honest, a lot of time that I've spent over the past week is having conversations with potential coaches to fill those roles throughout the various programs. So I've spent hours and hours on the phone and talking to people in person and seeing what type of commitments I get. And we have a lot of great pieces potentially in place. But as I said, it's just going to be more placing where they're going to be. A lot of the coaches will be people who are working in the building, which I think is a fantastic thing. The kids will see them in the school. They'll be the role models, acting the way that we expect our players to be act, and they'll be held accountable in school. So definitely kind of just confirming up those last couple assistant jobs, and you'll have a better idea of the coaching. But besides that, equipment is a huge thing, making sure the equipment's ready to go, making sure everything's organized. When we do equipment pickup, it goes smoothly and efficiently for all the players. Getting the practice fields ready and the on-field equipment, and all the pads and the dummies and the sleds and all that stuff. And then just like other minute stuff, and like getting apparel for the players, like t-shirt and shorts and coaching gear, and there's just a lot of different things involved. And I have a to-do list, and I'm just kind of working through piece by piece. So yeah, it's a lot, but it's exciting, and I'm looking forward to getting things going.
That's terrific. Can you give us any information about this year's team? Do we know who the captains are?
We do not know who the captains are yet. That'll be something that will be determined in the near future. But we have a great group. The senior class is a little bit smaller, but they're a great group of kids, great, talented, high character, exactly what we want out of our seniors. The junior class is a little bit bigger as well, very skilled. They have a little bit more depth as it pertains to the amount of players. And then the upcoming sophomores who were freshmen last year have a really in-depth class, a lot of players. And a lot of that's a testament to our middle school program, who's just feeding us. I think the most important thing right now is just getting kids to come out and play football, and hopefully we can provide them experience where they come out and play again. But I think we'll have a solid year, and I think the kids are going to work hard. They're going to know how to do the basics. They're going to know how to do the skills. We're going to play as a team. We're going to be tough, supportive.
It's time to let you know about a few things you should know about in your town of Hopkinton. On July 23rd, country star Ayla Brown will perform with special guest Rob Bellamy at the Hopkinton Center for the Arts. It should be a great event. We'll have it live on HCAM. For all the upcoming events at the Hopkinton Center for the Arts, head over to hopartscenter.org. Our picture of the week: first seeded Ashland Legion Baseball defeated Hudson on July 20th, 8-5, and earned a trip to the sectional finals in Natick. Go Post 77. Upcoming town government meetings on Monday, July 26th at 7 p.m. You can catch the planning board meeting live on HCAM TV. On Tuesday, July 27th at 7 p.m. You can catch the Conservation Commission meeting live on HCAM TV. For all the upcoming town government meetings, head over to hopkintonma.gov. Believe it or not, we are out of time for this edition of HCAM News. Don't worry, next Thursday at 6:30 p.m., we'll be back. For everyone at HCAM, I'm HCAM News Director Tom Nappy. Take care, be well, and we'll talk to you again soon.